Time to go live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Trackside with Tom. This is Tom Hogan, the owner and operator of Steel Highway Railcams, and tonight I have with me Adam Kuczynski. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly.
You actually got that spot on.
Yes, Adam Kuczynski from Ditch Light Productions. So, welcome to Trackside with Tom. This is our primetime Wednesday night episode, and we have some exciting stuff that we're looking forward to sharing with everyone tonight. So, Adam, why don't you start out? Tell us a little bit about where you're from and how you participate in the rail fan community.
Alrighty, thank you for having me on. I'm from Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. You might know that as being close to the famous Scranton, Pennsylvania, because it's on The Office. But I basically go out and photograph railroads throughout the Northeast. Like to travel out, just the middle of nowhere, try to get some remote locations that aren't really familiar to a lot of people and put it on display for everybody to see.
Yeah. So I've got your YouTube page pulled up here.
There it is.
And we're going to show off, you've got a minute 40 video of the Reading and Northern 425 charging through a town that I am not going to try to pronounce because I'm brave, but I'm not that brave.
Yep, that's just north of Tamaqua, PA.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about this video. And was this one of the last runs of 425? Is that why you shot this?
Yeah, this is one of the last Santa trains they did last year north of Tamaqua. So it was a pretty nice hike in, because we're looking south currently towards the Tuscarora State Road crossing, and Tamaqua is right below that town. So I walked in probably about a mile to this shot. But yeah,
looks like
one of the last ones.
It looks like some hunters walked back in there also.
Yes, sir. Yep, it was a nice day for them to get out.
Well, let's take a moment here and just enjoy this as he steams by. Oh, he shook the camera a little bit as he's going by too.
Oh, yeah.
So, this is the Reading and Northern 425, and this engine is currently out of service for its boiler rebuild. But this was one of the last runs from last fall, it looks like.
No, this was actually right at the end of November.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, there's the end of that video. And do you know, they're actively rebuilding that? It's not just going to sit in the shop and remain untouched?
Right now, if I'm correct, the last time I heard, they're actually in the process right now of focusing their efforts on getting 2102 ready. I haven't heard the exact time frame of how that's going, but I know that's currently in the works, and 425 will be on its way pretty soon, hopefully.
All right.
Yeah.
Because he had his 15-year boiler certification, so they have to do a full rebuild on that one.
Yeah, I heard a lot of the parts are currently in shop for whatever they needed, but from what I heard, it'll probably be a couple years out, so.
Okay.
Yeah. The T1 will have to keep us busy.
I know, right? How disappointing. We have to watch the Northern run around. Yes.
Oh, man.
So, obviously, you have a YouTube channel. You have a Facebook page. People can find you on Ditch Light Productions here on either Facebook or YouTube. And why don't you tell us a little bit about because we had talked about how, before we went on the air, that you have your whole year planned out. What are some of the trips that you're looking at taking this year? What's piqued your interest?
Well, I'm currently looking forward to hopefully getting out to the Buffalo and Pittsburgh Railroad. That's a railroad that runs out western PA. They go through Punxsutawney all the way up to Buffalo, New York. I'm trying to get out there for those guys at some point next Monday. And this summer, I'm currently planning a trip going down towards Georgia and so on and so forth. So we'll see how that pans out. But Yeah, it's currently in the works.
All right. A little bit of Ditch Light Production merchandise here. Just a little bit of free advertising, T-shirts and stickers that you've got.
Yep, currently selling those right now. Just a random thing I came up with as of recent. Me and a work friend got together, and she does pretty good work, and I figured why not see if some people be interested in them.
Well, and because I'm literally doing it. My next issue of Steel Highway is going to be fallen flags. You have a very fallen flag type of a theme for your T-shirt logo here.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Lehigh Valley Railroad, so I figured I'd since I focus a lot on anthracite railroads of the Northeast PA, what a better logo would be than to pick the diamond.
Right. So let's talk about a couple of these other photos that you sent here, because one of the things we like to discuss is photography, because there are plenty of people on this channel that they're not just here for headlights and horns, right? They're photographers, and they're using these webcams to try to track down trains and, make decisions about where to go. So talk to me a little bit about the photography as we go through. You've got 5 slides here that you sent me.
Yes, sir. This shot was actually, if I'm correct, February 2nd of 2020. Either it's 2020 or 2021, but regardless, this is when Reading and Northern had the 5018 painted in the red scheme, which I particularly enjoyed because, as you can see in this shot, if it was a black locomotive, it would kind of have a little bit more of a harder time sticking out against, the black background along with the snow. So I enjoyed that spot pretty well.
So now I have to ask, because this is, the trick is to build your own snow fort at the crossing and have the train blow up the snowdrift, right? Did you put an artificial snowdrift in front of this train, or was it just was blasting through in a blizzard?
Believe it or not, this was like literally probably about 2 hours after a blizzard. I actually remember taking off work that day, and then I was going to go in around like 5 o'clock, but I figured, before I go in, let me see if I could catch this train coming through. So I hiked out to Whitehaven Tunnel, and this is what I ended up with. So, yeah, it was pretty nice getting out there.
All right.
Yeah.
So as we move on to the next photo, this is a very picturesque kind of a spring look to it. So tell us what we're looking at here.
So I'm going to admit this, I did cheat on this photo. I stacked 2 images on top of one another. As you can see, I had my camera flash, which I took a picture beforehand, and I lit up the inside of this rock surface. And this is actually the south portal of Whitehaven Tunnel. Climbed up there, got this shot, and then as the train was rolling by, I took a picture of them going by, and I stacked both of them, and this was the final result.
It's a composite photo. I wasn't going to call you out on it, but I kind of noticed that myself, that you can tell that the lighting on the rock face is very different from the lighting that surrounds the train. Yes.
Right. Yeah, I think my biggest fear with this image was I was out there sitting in this rock area for about an hour and a half. I was soaking wet, and I couldn't live with myself personally if I took this photo and it turned out as bad as it should have, considering my settings were, a little bit spotty at that time. But yeah, I think it turned out pretty well. Yeah,
I agree. And just so that everyone knows, if you have any questions here for Adam, go ahead and throw them in the comments. I haven't recognized our comments section yet, but thank you everyone for tuning in, and we'll move on to the next photo where it looks like you might have gotten wet trying to take this particular photograph.
Oh, big time. Right before this shot, I started off in Whitehaven and I followed the train up, and this is in Mountaintop. And right before this shot, it was clear as day and there was no rain at all. I get to this spot and it just downpours, dropped it right on me.
So is that your tripod with the second camera on it up there closer to the searchlight signals?
Yes, sir. That's actually what I use for video. I actually have a clip from this particular spot in one of my my videos on my YouTube channel. I don't remember exactly which one it was, but yeah, I had to position that under the bridge, or else that would have gotten ruined.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And the waterfall on the left side, is that naturally occurring? Because it's a nice touch to the photo, or does that only happen when it rains?
Yep, that's exactly what happens when it rains. This spot, back in the CNJ/Lehigh Valley days, was double tracked at one point, believe it or not. But I think after Lehigh Valley took it over off the CNJ, they decided to make it to single track because of the natural groundwater that just accumulates. And, you know, imagine the amount of ballast they've had to pour into that.
Well, you can see the two different colors of ballast where it looks like they've raised it about 2 feet above the original roadbed down there.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, there's a ton of water on the sides. Those ditches probably fill up pretty fast.
Oh, big time.
And the searchlight signals there, double-headed searchlight signal, is that must be when they would have gone from double to single track like you're talking about. Is this an approach for a siding, a distant signal for a siding?
Yep, there's actually a siding right behind that cut of cars that you could see behind the locomotives. It goes double tracked from this spot, which is Solomon's Gap and Mountaintop, all the way down to Crestwood, which is probably, I would guess, around 3 or 4 miles down the road. And then it goes back into single track into Whitehaven and beyond. Yep.
What's the best place to take photos? Is it subjective? It's very subjective. You could have 10 different photographers. I just had a question in the chat here. What's the best place to take photos? It is totally dependent on the light and the direction of travel and just 100 other things. But yeah, there's a lot that goes into picking a location to take photos for sure.
Absolutely.
And it's the sort of thing where you could ask 10 photographers and get 10 different opinions, right? And they could all come up with a good shot, but they're all going to look different.
Yep, for sure. I've noticed that with like going out and photographing with several of my friends. A lot of people, you know, shoot their images a lot different, go for different angles. Everybody's going to have a different angle at the end of the day. Yeah.
And this next one, this is another one on the Reading, I believe. I'm seeing those RBNN reporting marks on the side?
Yes, sir. But this is actually this is still in Whitehaven, on top of the Whitehaven Tunnel.
Okay.
Yep.
I find these retaining walls very interesting also. I don't know that I've ever seen retaining walls built out of, I don't know, it looks like masonry blocks.
Yep.
But you must be on top of the tunnel portal looking down at it?
Yes, sir. I got in touch with one of my buddies before they went on shift, and you know, what I try to do with these locations that I photograph at night, as you can see with, you know, my flashes, such with the strobes, I try to let them know way ahead of time where I'm going to be at, where these are going to be positioned, because I've learned in the past going out there and just shooting with these things can really tick the guys off, and that's the last thing I want to do is ruin anybody's day, especially while they're working. Because at the end of the day, I'm going out there and I'm enjoying this as a hobby, and they're doing it for money, so I completely get that. But yeah, I'm on top of the Whitehaven Tunnel for this shot. This is going south towards North Reading, and this is the north portal.
And
but yeah, man,
I was just trying to count. Do you have 2 or 3 strobes set up here?
I think I have 4 there. I have one where I'm currently positioned, facing down. I have one off to the right of me, which gives me that little bit of illumination on the conductor side number board.
Yep, I see that.
Yep, and then 2 more along the side of the tunnel there.
Okay. Well, an excellent shot nonetheless. It looks like you pulled this one off in the rain as well.
Yeah, this was another one where I was kind of praying that it would have came out pretty good, because I with this shot, it's so hard at night to photograph with automatic focus on your camera. A lot of people have a hard time with that. If you shoot with a Canon, you can easily switch that over to manual, but with no light, you really have nothing to show where you're gonna focus on. So you're out there with phone flashlights and all these different types of flashlights to see how you could focus this up. So it's challenging.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, you did a good job with it. Obviously, you probably spent 2 hours setting everything up before he got there, but...
Oh, my God, yeah. Yeah, I remember sitting out there. The fun fact about this shot, it wasn't actually raining. It was like a heavy, dense fog.
Oh.
But I got very lucky with some of the wind coming in that it kind of settled it off and made it look like it was raining.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then the last one, we're very clearly out here in an actual blizzard. And
Yes, sir.
It looks like you got the pair of Alcos.
Yep, this is on the Delaware-Lackawanna Railroad. This is another famous attraction to this area. A lot of people come out far and wide to shoot these guys, because it's one of the last remaining short lines that actually operates with Alcos, and it's very unique. It's a lot of fun to go out and shoot with your friends. I met up with two of my friends this day. I drove for this trip, and once you start getting the hang of driving around in the snow throughout the day, it's not so bad. But this was one of our only decent blizzards that we had this year, and with me being on the Pocono Mountains for this particular chase, we got the best of it. And they had the 2409, which was leading. This used to be in a Wabash heritage paint. I think it was actually the original paint on the locomotive, and they just freshly painted this. So this was its first run.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
it was a pretty neat day.
It's pretty sharp looking. I mean, they preserved the class lights. They've got that very curved hood of the Alco look, and yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice looking unit for sure. So,
Yeah.
All right, tell us a little bit about what kind of camera that you use for your videography and for your photos.
Well, for my videography, I used to use like the old Canon camcorders for some of my early videos, and I've started to get away from that sort of product, and I'm starting to use the Canon T5 Rebel, which used to be my main photo or camera I'd use for photographing. So I started using that for video as of recent. A lot of my stuff on my Facebook page, I'll admit it, is shot on my iPhone 11.
Okay.
It's so hard to compete with phone technology that we have nowadays. So it's easier just to shoot on a phone versus having that huge bulky setup. But
Yeah.
a lot of my photographs I've shot with Canon T7 Rebel. I personally believe, a lot of people tend to bash on, a lot of the starter cameras, which is essentially what a T7 and a T5 are. But, it all just goes into the work. It could really show after, you get some aftermarket lenses and put a little bit of money into them, and this is what you can get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's people that for the magazine that are taking photos on their phones and submitting them for the magazine, and honestly, if they wouldn't tell me, I wouldn't know the difference necessarily. So
Yep, I was actually talking to one of my buddies. He was up photographing the Conway Scenic Railway, and he took a really nice photo in the fall, and me and him were talking about it, and he recently just acquired a camera, and he told me, he's like, that photo I took is actually on my iPhone, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, get out of here. But it just goes to show, like, the amount of technology that we have in the palm of our hands nowadays.
yeah. So, all right, Adam Kuczynski, we can find you on Facebook under Ditchlight Productions and YouTube under Ditchlight Productions. And do you have any calendars left for sale, or have you sold those all this year?
I've sold them all out as of recent. I'm actually in the process of laying out the grids for the 2024 calendar. I'm almost done with that, and I should be announcing that within the next couple months. I would like to try to get them ready for sale by September this year, because the first year I sold them was, I believe, my 2022 calendar came out, and I had a pretty decent run with those. They did come out February of last year, so I'm trying to get better with getting them on hand.
Yeah, and you do the calendar you do totally with your own photography. You don't take any submissions for that, for instance. You do it entirely off your own camera.
I was suggested it at one point in time, but I look at it this way. I like to try to get my work on there as much as possible, so you can enjoy it on your wall at your home or however you would like to have it. But I like to preferably keep it with my work.
Sure. All right. Well, Adam, I'm going to leave it up to you. You can stay on and do some train spotting with me on different steel highway rail cams, or you can jump off. It's totally up to you. But I do appreciate your time, obviously. And, obviously everyone go out and check out Ditchlight Productions. So, Adam, what do you want to do at this point?
I'll stay on with you and spot on here for a little bit.
All right. Mind. Sounds good. Well, I know it's an hour later there, so if you need to jump off, don't be afraid to say so.
Roger that.
We're actually going to go check out the one camera that I have out in your neck of the woods, which is in Bergenfeld, New Jersey. And it is on the CSX. And anyone that's out here... Oh, we actually found something right off the bat. Look at this.
Wow, look at that.
So we literally jumped in live on a train. So I don't know how... I'm assuming that you are familiar with it, but for the rest of our viewers, this is on the CSX outside of New York City, but it's actually in New Jersey. And to the left is going towards Selkirk Yard, and to the right is going down toward southern New Jersey and Pennsylvania. And what do we have here? We are looking at... It looks like a manifest. He had a single CSX there on the head end.
Yeah, it looks like a single tier 4 liter.
Yeah, it did. And now I'm gonna be totally honest. I am not particularly familiar with things like train symbols on the CSX, but figure out GE versus EMD and what all we're looking at here. These hoppers, so here's a cut of BNSF hoppers right in the middle of the train. We see those all the time out here in the Midwest. So I'm guessing that was something that was interchanged. Oh, and here, so are those are the garbage cars, aren't they?
Yeah, those look like some trash cars.
Yeah. Those extended top, open top hoppers. Yeah.
Yep, for sure.
So those are, do you know what the routing is on those, where they actually get unloaded?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I know a lot of trash service goes into New Jersey.
Yeah, I mean, that's the joke, right?
Yeah, a lot of people tend to make fun of that.
Uh-huh. So, otherwise, there's things like I always like to try to look for when we get to these more out of the way cams is some of the unique steel coil hoppers that the NS and CSX have that we just don't see much around here in the Midwest, honestly.
Yeah, for sure.
There's that DPU. Looks like another Tier 4 on the DPU.
Yeah, this is, if I'm correct, I think this is a Riverline camera because you were saying north goes to Selkirk and then the going to the right would probably be around like Ridgefield Park, New Jersey.
Right. I think where this is at, it is literally just across the Hudson River from New York.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if I'm correct, my one buddy Matt, who I photographed with, is actually from this area. He's out where I'm currently at doing college, so yeah, it's pretty cool to get out there and check out his neck of the woods sometimes.
Some BNSF refrigerated boxcars going by there.
Yeah.
All right, well, it skipped a little bit, but there's the end of the train. We're going to go back and find something in daylight over here, because that always makes things a little easier to see. But we'll check out one more. Oh yeah, we have Jeeper Preacher is on here. He's actually from Pennsylvania, but he helps out on the Steel Highway webcams. He helps out with the with some of the train logs. And he was saying that he thinks that's an M410. But he is actually from eastern Pennsylvania, I believe. So let's see, how far back do we have to go to find a daylight train in Bergenfeld, New Jersey? I should point out also, our host Bill put up this webcam, and it's actually dual streamed. He has it on his YouTube channel, and we have it here.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's actually, it's a great story. He started out with the New Jersey DOT putting up traffic cameras. But
get out.
Yeah, now that he's retired, he's put up this webcam, and he's looking for some more locations out there too. I forget exactly where all he was looking at, but he's definitely trying to find, I think a location in upstate New York is where he's trying to find, but still on CSX.
Very nice.
Yeah. I am not having any luck at all. Apparently, it was a pretty dead day on the CSX. There may have been a track window or something out here. Because I am literally, I've gone back 6 hours, and I'm not finding anything. So, oh, Delaware, I'm sorry. He's in Delaware. I apologize.
Oh, wow.
So, all right. We are going to jump over to a different camera because, obviously, we don't want to spend all night looking for another train on this particular camera. And let's see. We'll go over to Mills Tower. This is actually the last interlocking tower in the state of Iowa. And we have a webcam here. This is a diamond for the CSX and the Union Pacific. Or excuse me, the CN and the Union Pacific. We were just looking at CSX. And somebody gave me a timestamp for 1728. So we're going to look because I think this is a fallen flag. We're going to go back a little bit further. 1742. Go back. 1717. We're not quite there. Oops. Well, I hit the wrong thing. All right. Turn the volume on. We'll hear him clatter across the diamond. But at 1728, apparently there is a... Here we go. So we're looking east. This is a diamond of the Canadian National and Union Pacific out in central Iowa. And apparently there was a Gray Ghost CSX engine that went by here that we're looking for. And let's see. Not quite there. Went just a little bit too far.
thing I really like about this tower is when you have the night trains going by, I saw that there's kind of like a little bit of a light coming off the tower.
There is.
That's nice. Nice touch.
The guys at the Historical Society put up the lights. So we've got a couple of wide cab SD70s maybe? Or wide cab SD60s. One of the two. And
they're looking like SD70s.
yeah, I think those are 70s. So we got a couple of white, and then there's the BNSF, and there's our Gray Ghost KCS engine. Yep.
Nice slash up.
So this guy is going east, and there's actually a siding just down past this location of the camera where they make a meet, and then we'll have a westbound go by just a little bit after this. So while he's rolling by, what did you say, Adam? I'm sorry, I just walked on you there.
Oh, no, I was just saying, good stuff.
Yeah. They're kind of crawling along here because I assume they're going into the siding. Oh, SD75s. All right. We have our CN expert here. Missing Link is he helps us out. So those are SD75s, not SD70s. That's why.
Oh, very good.
Yeah. So while this guy's rolling by, I'm just gonna take a moment here to say hello to everyone in the chat. We've got Barry up in Butler Junction and Santa Fe Man and Turf, John Bulio and Lodestone, Yardmaster, A-Train. Hello everyone. Highball Productions, Rocky Run up in Stevens Point, Daniel Swanson, Cutthroat Drummer in Bangor, Maine. Very nice to see you. Ken in Wisconsin, Robert, Noah Yetman, hello. Hello. And reading along here, H.O. Scale, good to see you. Stephen Kern, he wants to know if you ever get over to Allentown. Stephen Kern had a question for you, Adam. He wants to know if you ever get over to Allentown to do any photography.
I actually really enjoy going down to Allentown because it's an hour drive for me, and it puts me right in the middle of the NS Reading line, the Lehigh line. I recently went there about a month and a half ago. I have a picture from there of the yard goats. They actually came out a decent amount to CP Ham. I got a nice shot of them. But
all right.
Yeah, I like it out there. It's nice.
Let's see here. What else have we got? Ryan Winan, it looks like. He was complimenting your photos, so he enjoyed that. Brandon Karstensen, Hopen111. Alan Hunt, always good to see Alan Hunt here. He's our other Intel guy. He gave us another timestamp for Mills Tower also, so we'll have to look at that. 11:53 in the morning. M Helium, A Train, Trainmaster, Jeeper Preacher, and yes, Missing Link. Good to see everyone. Thank you. Kansas Train Videos. That's our editor, Tyler. Good to see everyone tonight. We've got 43 people, 44 people logged in watching us tonight. So thank you very much. Oh, Stephen Kern. The reason he's asking is because Allentown is his hometown. That's why.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Allentown's a very good spot. I mean, like I said, it's not too far from home if I want to go see some action, you know? A lot of people shoot on me because I photograph the Reading and Northern a lot, but what people don't realize is I live about 15 minutes from the tracks, and it's good to get out and see something going over the mountain every couple days.
Yeah, I don't blame you. We don't really have any mountain grades. We have one tunnel over in East Dubuque, but there's really not much. It's a lot of wide open shooting across cornfields here in eastern Iowa.
Oh, I hear you. Yeah, it's not bad getting out there. I like going up over the mountain because we actually used to have NS trains that used to run through here over the Reading and Northern, and we don't really get to see that at all actually anymore. So It's good to see that line still utilized.
Yeah. So, all right, we are going to move on to the meat. We'll get the other part of the meat. I think you can see the train is just pulled into the siding there.
Yeah.
And if we go ahead a little bit further, of course, I found the other half of the meat when I was not trying to earlier. And now I think we're almost there. I think it only took them about 30 minutes for the meat to show up. Yeah, here we go. So here is our westbound. So this is a pair of locals. One that comes out of Waterloo, Iowa, one that comes out of Fort Dodge, Iowa. And this Mills Tower with the Mills siding is just about halfway. And they meet here a lot of afternoons. So this does not surprise me that we got one. We just got them back to back here, about 30 minutes apart. And it looks like we have a pair of, no, we have a GE and then we have another SD75, it looks like, on the westbound train.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So this guy is heading toward Fort Dodge. The other one that's heading east, he's heading toward Waterloo. So anyway, so there was our Mills Tower meet. So we're going to jump back a little bit further and hit this other timestamp that Alan Hunt gave me, which was 11:53 in the morning. And, oh, we got to go back a little bit further than that. Too far, 11:26. Let's see here, 11:48. We are very, very, very close. What do we have? 11:53 and 17 seconds. All right, so this guy is coming on the UP side, heading south toward Des Moines. And we see we have a, it looks like a winged UP. Is that an SD70? No, that's not. That is a GE. Oh, and then we have a CN. We have a CN motor going on the wrong. There's a CN SD75 going on the wrong line.
Wow.
And then an NS motor. Yeah.
Man, that's quite a lash up, huh?
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, it's good to see this kind of stuff on here, man. I'm not gonna lie, like with these rail cams that you have set up, a lot of the stuff that you have on here, I can't go out and just see whenever I want, so it's good to see it on here.
Well, we're gonna jump over to Griffith next because, in my opinion, I think that's the most interesting camera on the Steel Highway network right now. And to get all the power, the IC power and GTW and sometimes you get Bessemer units going through there. I mean, there's just a huge variety of stuff that rolls through there that it's pretty interesting. All right, so this is a southbound UP train. These guys, again, they kind of roll through here slow because of the diamond, so we're not going to watch the whole thing. But the power was definitely interesting. So thank you for the timestamps, everyone on Mills Tower, and thank you to the Iowa Falls Historical Society for hosting us at Mills Tower in Iowa Falls. So we're going to jump over to Griffith now. And so this is Griffith, Indiana. And we have an interlocking here, which is now owned on both sides by the CN. But it's former EJ&E one way and former GTW going the other way. And where was our timestamp for we need, oh, apparently the BCOL Heritage unit is running around somewhere in the Griffith area. But anyway, this is one of these that you can't hardly go wrong with the amount of moves that go across this diamond and just the variety of power that we get going through here. So
Yeah, I heard Indiana's a pretty decent hot spot out there.
what's that?
Yeah, I heard Indiana's a pretty decent hot spot for a lot of traffic.
Yeah, this gets all of the traffic going in and out of the Kirkyard on, or almost all the traffic going in and out of the Kirkyard that the CN got a hold of when they bought the EJ&E.
Huh.
So we have the
Well.
gates down. Oh, and we have a Death Star leader. Look at that. Right off the bat, we've got a IC Death Star leader, SD70, followed by another, well, a repainted Death Star, the IC 1030. And this guy is going east. He's going toward the Kirkyard in Gary, Indiana. So the direction that'd be going away from him is going toward Joliet, Illinois. 48 trains in Griffith yesterday. You know, we don't have a train log going for Griffith, but that would be one of those that, if we had the manpower to do it, that's a high priority for me. There's one of those goofy-looking coil cars that we were talking about before. What else do we have going on here? Otherwise, pretty standard manifest rolling by. So, yes, if you have questions, please put your questions in the chat. But we definitely appreciate, this is Interlocking Tower in Griffith, Indiana, and the Griffith Historical Society is the host here. So what do we have for chats? Alan Hunt, Brian Rock Railfan, hello. We have, there's a timestamp for Job 40. That Job 40 usually has standard cab Jeeps over there at Iowa Falls. I missed that. We didn't look for that today. But that's always interesting. And
It's also
yes.
cool to see Death Stars still running around.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's the big draw of this Griffith camera, honestly, is they have, I don't know, probably a half dozen Death Stars that are running around that are untouched.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty popular railroad out in western PA. You got the Bessemer and Lake Erie, which is now owned by CN. They had, I think, a good 3-pack of Death Stars out there running on the north and southbound ore train for a while until they brought in the M2s, and that was pretty popular for people to go out and photograph. But
sure. And some of those Bessemer engines have made it in here to Indiana, and some of them are up in northern Wisconsin or northern Minnesota. Sorry, on the Iron Range too.
Hey, as long as they're still running around in their original paint and they run fine, good stuff.
Oh yeah. Here, somebody's saying there was a BLE by the camera earlier today.
Nice.
Hopefully someone has a timestamp for it that we can look at. Well, there's the rear of that. All right. 1945 SD60s with a BLE. Oh, we got to find that. I'm all over that. Where are we at here? That's a little bit too late. We got to back up a little bit here. About 15 minutes or so. Maybe we'll get in a little bit of daylight too. Oh, just barely. Look at that. We got, we put in scanner radios with these webcams also. I'll tell you, if you want to talk about the one thing that really distinguishes my webcams from, say, any of the competitors, it's definitely the inclusion of those scanner radio feeds. I'm pretty proud of that, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, it's pretty informative. I mean, especially if you have something going by and, you want to know the symbol. That's pretty nice.
Yeah. All right, here we go. So we have, I'm going to pause this. So we've got it, SD70, looks like another SD70, maybe a third SD70. We got to run this thing ahead here and see what we got. And then the Bessie unit is fourth out.
All elephant style too. That's pretty cool.
That is. That might be an SD60 instead of an SD70. So I think we got two 70s, a 60, and a Bessie. So,
Wow.
yeah. And those Bessemer units, those are SD38s, I believe?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Pretty incredible to still see SD38s still traveling on road trains.
I know.
They're still fairly common. I mean, we got, I think, what is it? 3 of them over here on the Reading and Northern running around still.
Right. Well, those SD38s and SD40s are generally considered to be short line power now, honestly.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So, they're saying 2 SD60s and 1 SD70. All right. So I got that backwards. 2 SD60s and 1 SD70. Well, I blame the failing light for that, I guess. My vision is going bad here. But otherwise, you know, the amount of variety that we get by this Griffith camera is just pretty.
That's amazing.
It really is. Let's see what other. Do we have any other timestamps that anyone wants to give us for Griffith before we move on to another camera? I am going to say again, thank you to the 46 people that are tuned in watching us live. We will. All right, here we go. We got the gates coming down. We've got another move coming up that looks like another eastbound move. I'm a little bit surprised we haven't gotten anything on the GTW side at all. These trains that we've seen have all been on the J side. So let's see if this guy is just kind of crawling up here, or what have we got going on? Because the gates have been down for a little bit. Here we go. Well, we've got another. All right, let's see if I can. Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, we've got a repainted SD70, and then we've got a Death Star SD70. So.
God, I miss standard cab SD70s.
Yes. Oh, some Boston and Maine hoppers. Look at that. I mean, patched, but how often do you see those light blue Boston and Maine hoppers running around? I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe you see them all the time out there in Pennsylvania, but we don't hardly ever see them around here.
Yeah, we have, usually on our north and southbound, on the NS Sunbury line, we get a couple here and there if we're lucky.
Yeah. Oh, all right. We got some more comments here.
Sweet.
Oh, all right. Ian, one of my mods, is saying that somebody has a Griffith log going and wanted to possibly put it in the description. Absolutely. Take a look at that stake car.
That's sweet.
I think those are telephone pole cars, I believe.
Oh, believe it or not, Reading and Northern just picked up a new telephone pole customer.
Really?
Yeah, they just posted it today, I think, on their Facebook page, and I was reading up about it.
Fascinating. Is there a lot of logging industry there around where you're at in Pennsylvania?
It's hit and miss in certain spots. I think Reading and Northern has a few. They mainly lumber, but they have Mariotti Lumber, which is up in Old Forge, PA. I'm not sure of many other ones except for that telephone pole company, but there's quite a bit here.
Yeah, when we see like the center beam flat cars loaded with lumber,
yeah,
usually that's coming off the CN and it's coming out of northern Minnesota or Canada even.
Oh yeah, like our north and southbound on the Sunbury line here. A lot of the southbound traffic is a ton of lumber from Canada.
So we're going to look at one more. We got, I believe this one is going to be going around the connection from the J to the GTW to head toward Michigan. Yeah, this is another eastbound move, but taking the connection track. And speak of the devil, there's some center beam loads of lumber right on the head end. Looks like one CNGE there on the head end. And let's see here. Well, Ian, if you want to send me an email with your buddy that has the Griffith train log going, I'd be happy to include that in the description of the webcam feed for sure. Let's see here. Allentown, yes. Everyone is very impressed with your Allentown stories, so good work on that.
Yeah, no, I just want to say I appreciate everybody who, likes and comments on my stuff and likes the work I put out. It's pretty awesome. I appreciate it.
Yeah. They did put another timestamp in. I don't know if we're going to get to it, but 2 SD70s and a UP at 1639. Live camera at Homewood, Illinois. I would love to get something into the Flossmoor restaurant, but have to definitely keep working on that. GTW stacks and racks. Yes, that's right. How many times does a week does the track closest to the Erie caboose get used? Well, we should point out the guy from the Griffith Historical Society actually tells me that is not an EL caboose, even though it's painted that way. It's actually a J caboose that they repainted EL because the Erie-Lackawanna was one of the railroads that operated through here at one time. And so I guess the EL did use transfer cabooses that were that style, but this was a J caboose that was repainted to represent the EL. 1404 at Tremplow. I don't think we're going to go to Tremplow. We just did that one in the last. Where does each track go? All right. So as we're looking at the diamond, this train that's going to the left right now, and he's got a City Rail leaser that the CN purchased that not repainted there, going through as the DPU. So the train is getting onto the double main, which is the former GTW, going toward Elkhart and South Bend, Indiana. And then going to the bottom left is going towards Gary, Indiana, which is the yard where the CN terminates and builds trains. From the top right, you're going over toward Joliet, Illinois, and then going off to the side on the right, that's going up the CSX Elsden sub, which goes into downtown Chicago. So that's our orientation here. And then there's 3 connecting tracks, but one of them is out of frame to the left, and because of the tall stand of trees, you can't even see it. Let's see here. KCS power on the CP today. Yes, the KCS power, because of the merger getting approved, the KCS power, there's an awful lot of it showing up on the CP now. I think we're just going to see more and more of that going forward.
Yeah, we're coming into the final days here.
That's
we're
right.
Supposed to start that up, I think on like the 14th or the 20th around there.
Well, don't fool yourself. They've been sharing assets for close to 6 months now.
Oh, big time. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people are pretty upset about it, saying, oh, yeah, CP's going to get everything and paint it over. And I say, guys, like, there was Sioux Line stuff running around forever after they purchased them.
Oh, yeah. There might still be Milwaukee Road Bandit units running around, at least one anyway.
Yeah. And DNA, they got DNH a while back, and there's still like 1 or 2 of those running around.
Yeah. It's not going to happen quick.
No.
All right. So we're going to jump over to one more camera, and then I have a couple of things that I'm going to share here at the very end. We're actually going to go down to Sedalia, Missouri, because quite honestly, we haven't checked in Sedalia, Missouri in a while. And This is former Mopac, and it also hosts the Missouri River Runner service. And I was really hoping that we would see if I could go back and find today's Amtrak train, today's River Runner service. Oh, yep, look at that. I found it right there.
Perfect.
So we're going to find one of the Amtrak River Runner services going through Sedalia, Missouri. So, just for your information, Adam, they call this River Runner because it goes from the Missouri River to the Mississippi River. But they have these Siemens chargers on them, and so that's always kind of interesting.
Yeah, New Power's pretty cool.
Yep.
I know there's a lot of news about them, but they don't look too bad.
They don't look too bad, but apparently they are not particularly, how shall we say, well equipped for dealing with Midwestern winters.
Yeah.
And you get these newer Amtrak Horizon cars that have made their way into the River Runner service as well.
Speaking about your winters out there, how was it this year? Because we didn't really get much out here.
Oh, we got knocked around a few times. I would say it's certainly not the worst winter I've ever lived through, but I probably shoveled my driveway about 5 or 6 times this summer. I would say it was just kind of normal.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we didn't really get too much out here. I think we had maybe like 2 or 3 decent snowfalls, and it didn't really last too long because the ground is so warm.
So, all right. Let's look through, while Amtrak is here doing his station work. Oh, he's whistling off, so he's going to be on his way pretty quickly here. And thank you to Osage Gun and Pawn for hosting this particular webcam. Just so you know, those 2 baggage cars actually on the head end are spacers because of the PTC requirements on the UP. They have to have a minimum number of axles. And
wow.
So they just run around with empty baggage cars, just pulling them around to meet the PTC requirements.
Jeez.
But it's pretty common for these to run with 4 coaches, and I believe that is what we're going to see. Four coaches, and then there was a parlor car, a dining car up there. Not even dining, really. What do they call it? The snack bar car that was up there on the head end. So, we're going to jump out of here, and Adam, I know that you and I talked about this when we were off air, but I'm going to share some news with everybody else now about some upcoming Steel Highway projects. Cafe car, there we go. The snack bar car, that's not right. I knew that wasn't right. So, we're going to talk a little bit about some upcoming Steel Highway projects. So, I've told everyone about the fact that we're going to have an Iron Range camera, which is going to be up in Cloquet or Munger, Minnesota, just outside of Duluth. And that camera is going in May 1st. And if we jump in here a little bit closer, we're going to find the Munger Tavern. And this spot right here where the Masabi sub goes over top of the Iron Range sub, that's what we're going to be looking at. Yeah, there's the Munger Tavern, and then literally about 1,000 feet away is where it's not a diamond, it's an under-over. But we'll be able to look down there and see all the neat stuff that goes up and down the hill at not the Proctor Hill, but going in and out of Duluth. But, Adam, I am going to be making a trip out into your neck of the woods in the the end of June, sorry. And the first stop is that we are going to have a Steel Highway webcam that's going to go into Owasso, Michigan at the Steam Railroad Institute. And for anyone that has seen...
Amazing.
Oh, you're cutting out there a little bit, Adam. Are you still with us? I think Adam's signal we might be losing Adam's signal. But Owasso, Michigan is the home of the Pierre Marquette 1225. And the Steam Railroad Institute and the Great Lakes GLC.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. You back with us now?
Yep, I'm here.
All right. Well, Adam is breaking up a little bit, but the Steam Railroad Institute has been gracious enough to host a webcam. We're going to be putting that in the end of June, and this is the home of the Pierre Marquette 1225 from the made famous by the movie, the Polar Express movie. There we go. I don't know why I couldn't come up with that. And then you also get the Great Lakes Central short line trains, which will be running around that area. So we'll have the webcam running year round, but it's going to primarily be there for during the winter when we get to see all of these moves on the Pierre Marquette, the big steam engine. And then after that, we are going to jump over to Cumberland, Maryland, and at the home of the Western Maryland and Scenic, we will actually have a webcam that will be going into the Western Maryland and Scenic depot. And I'm going to actually put in their location. There we go. Western Maryland Scenic on Canal Street. So this is going to be the second stop on the trip. We're going to be putting in this webcam on the Western Maryland Scenic and be able to get some nice footage of all the moves that they make, including the big duplex engine, the 1309. So that's going to be the second stop. And then I'm working on a third stop that's going to be up in Adams territory in eastern Pennsylvania. And I can't share the details because I don't have it all ironed out yet. But I'm really looking forward to this trip because I'm excited about these webcam locations. And the one in Owasso and the one in Cumberland are going to be just fantastic. So that's something that we have to look forward to this summer. It's going to be the last week of June when I'm going to be going out to do these installs. And if anyone has any other questions about any of the other webcam locations, VRF has, of course they do. They've got one in Fort Madison too. Did that stop me from putting my own camera in Fort Madison? Come on, man. I'm not scared about this. So anyway, thank you everyone for tuning in tonight. But if you have any questions, I'd be happy to take them here at the end of the program. But otherwise, we will go over to Fort Madison actually and check out. We have a train going by Fort Madison right now. So we're just going to back this up a little bit to catch the head end of the train. Here we go. And we see the gates coming down, and I believe we got it coming up here very quickly. So, Adam, are you still with me? Or did we lose you? Well,
Yeah, can you hear me?
oh, just barely. You're breaking up pretty bad. So,
Hello.
well,
Give me one moment.
we have a eastbound train going through Fort Madison now, heading
There we
toward
go.
the drawbridge in the Illinois side. So, Adam, you still with me there?
Yeah, how about now?
Yeah, that's much better. There we go.
Awesome.
So, yeah. Thank you very much, Adam, for being on with me tonight here. And
Yeah, no problem.
you know, thanks for the updates on all the stuff that you're doing, because obviously we're here to help out fellow rail fans and fellow YouTubers, and happy to have you on and kind of feature a little bit about what you do as well.
Yeah. Yep, I like to share my stuff with you guys. It's always a good time, and I always believe in, like, if I'm doing it and then I stop having fun doing it, that'll probably be it for me. But as long as I'm having fun doing it, may as well just keep putting it out there.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we're going to call it a night. We'll be back on Monday of next week, noon Central, and we're going to have Scott Dolunk on with us from RRHMA, and he is going to talk a little bit about the restoration of some of the steam engines that they're working on in Silvis. So, thank you everyone for tuning in. It's been a pleasure tonight. Thank you, Adam, for being on with me. And we are going to call it
No
a
problem.
night.